Welcome to Live, Laugh, Talk. I'm your host, James Graham, and it's a privilege to be here in your ear. In this episode, we will begin with a topic entitled, Why the N-Word Needs to Die. Then we will transition to our segment, How Did We Get Here? Followed by our hobbies and special interest section, and then conclude with our sunflower message. If you have an idea, please send it to us at admin@livelaughtalk.com. That's admin@livelaughtalk.com. If listening on Spotify, you can add a voice memo as well as answer our poll and participate in our questions and comments. Also, wherever it is that you listen to the podcast, please follow so that you're notified of new episodes when they're released. The topic that we will begin with is entitled, Why the N-Word Needs to Die. Growing up, I had what was seemingly confusion all around me. On one hand, I had moved into an all-white neighborhood that is still, to this day, predominantly white. And then as a kid, we're talking about in the 80s, I'd ride my bicycle. My neighbors, and I use that word loosely, neighbors, would call me the N-word. They tell me to go back home. And they didn't mean my parents' house in the neighborhood. Yet, this is where the confusion would come. Because I would hear comedians such as Richard Pryor use the word frequently and draw laughs. Rap artists use the word like it was their middle name. It became a word that Black people took ownership of and even deemed as a term of endearment. The spelling of the word even changed to end with an A instead of the hard ER. Yet, it still had and does have a powerful sting. Why? Because for centuries, it has been a word rooted in hate and subsequent dehumanizing of a race of people, making them worth less than an animal, not even considered a human. The use of the N-word is rooted in a history of discrimination and oppression. Many argue that its use perpetuates harm, reinforces systemic racism, and contributes to a culture of disrespect. I have to agree with them. Advocates for its retirement emphasize the importance of fostering inclusive and respectful language to promote equality and understanding among diverse communities. Retiring the N-word is part of a broader societal effort to create a more inclusive and equitable environment. On February 28, 2007, the New York City Council symbolically banned the use of the word. However, there was no penalty for using it. Even the NFL banned its use on the field. There were penalties for it, yard penalties, and maybe subsequently they would tap and fine their players for using the word on the field, regardless of your race. The formal resolution there in New York requested even excluding from the Grammy Awards consideration for every song whose lyrics contain the word. However, the vice president of communication for the Recording Academy doubted that it would have any effect at all on actual nominations. Was it that he felt that it wouldn't change anything, that people would still use the word frequently? Or was it that the songs weren't getting any nominations anyway? Either or, I disagree with his decision. You see, because language shapes attitudes, and by eliminating racial slurs, we contribute to dismantling harmful stereotypes and promote racial harmony. This shift in language encourages dialogue that focuses on understanding, empathy, and shared humanity, fostering a culture where individuals are respected regardless of their race or ethnic background. If so, this 7 or 8-year-old child named James Graham was riding his bicycle in his neighborhood. That word didn't exist, and the minds of those people had changed. Would he have felt unwelcome in his own neighborhood? See, that unwelcoming of James has lived on in his psyche till this day. It's essential to recognize the power of language in shaping perceptions and influencing behavior overall. The retirement of the N word aligns with a broader movement advocating for social justice and equality. By promoting language that respects the dignity of all individuals, we contribute to building a society where everyone feels valued, everyone feels included, irrespective of their racial or ethnic background. This ongoing conversation emphasizes the importance of evolving our language to reflect our commitment to a more just and harmonious world. Furthermore, the elimination of the N word is crucial for creating safe spaces, fostering positive relationships, and promoting a sense of belonging for marginalized communities. Language has the potential to either perpetuate harm or contribute to healing and understanding. It does both. Embracing inclusive language reflects a commitment to equality, challenging historical injustices, and moving toward a society where individuals are judged based on their character rather than their race. As our society progresses, the call to do away with the N word emphasizes the need for continuous education and awareness. Understanding the historical context and the impact of such language is essential for fostering empathy and dismantling ingrained biases. It's not just about policing words, but about fostering a culture shift that recognizes the importance of treating every individual with dignity and respect, irrespective of their racial identity. This ongoing dialogue invites reflection on the language we use and its broader implications for creating an inclusive and tolerant society. Moreover, retiring the N word encourages a reevaluation of cultural norms and promotes accountability in our words and actions. It underscores the responsibility we have to challenge discriminatory language and contributes to creating environments where people from all backgrounds feel heard and valued. By consciously choosing language that uplifts rather than marginalizes, we actively participate in the construction of a more compassionate and equitable future for everyone. This happened in the life of Richard Pryor. After returning from his trip to Africa, he stated that while there, he saw no N-words. He saw a powerful people. He vowed to never say the word again. We don't know what Richard did in his personal life, but we know that no recording of him saying that word was ever found again. This shift in language reflects a broader commitment to building a society that acknowledges and addresses the historical injustices faced by marginalized communities. It encourages individuals to be mindful of the impact of their words, fostering a culture of empathy and understanding. As we collectively strive for a more inclusive world, the retirement of racially insensitive language becomes a symbol of progress, reminding us of the ongoing work needed to create a society that truly embraces diversity and equality. Yes, retiring the N word is a step towards breaking the cycle of intergenerational trauma and promoting healing. As mentioned, language carries the weight of history. And by letting go of words that have been used to demean and dehumanize, we contribute to a narrative of empowerment and unity. This process involves not only reframing our vocabulary, but also actively engaging in conversations and actions that dismantle systemic racism and create a foundation for a more just and equitable future. In essence, the retirement of the N word is intertwined with the broader journey toward social justice. It signifies a commitment to dismantling oppressive structures, fostering empathy, and acknowledging the importance of language in shaping our collective mindset. By actively choosing inclusive and respectful words, we contribute to a cultural shift that values the dignity and humanity of all individuals, regardless of their racial background. And this ongoing evolution in language reflects a society's dedication to progress, understanding, and the pursuit of a more equitable and compassionate world. Ultimately, the retirement of racially insensitive language overall challenges us to confront our historical legacies and actively participate in the creation of a more compassionate and just society. It requires ongoing education, self-reflection, and a commitment to dismantling systemic racism at its linguistic roots. By promoting inclusive language, we not only honor the dignity of those who have been historically marginalized, but also pave the way for a future where understanding, respect, and equality are at the forefront of our interactions and institutions. Yes, this shift will invite us to consider the profound impact of the words that we use. We need to have continuous dialogue about the language we use, fostering an environment where open conversations about race, equality, and justice can thrive. Retiring the N word is not merely a linguistic adjustment, but a powerful symbol of our collective journey towards a more enlightened and empathetic society, one that recognizes the significance of language in shaping a future free from the shackles of discrimination and inequality. In conclusion, the retirement of this awful word is a pivotal aspect of the ongoing struggle for social justice. Its commitment to fostering inclusivity, dismantling systemic racism, and promoting healing within our communities. Embracing a language that reflects our shared humanity contributes to the creation of a more equitable and empathetic society, challenging us to continually evolve and work towards a future where everyone is treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their racial background. Pedophilia is a significant public health problem and an adverse childhood experience. Yes, when we speak of pedophilia or child sexual abuse, it refers to the involvement of a child, which is a person less than 18 years old, in sexual activity that violates the laws or social taboos of society, and that he or she does not fully comprehend, or he or she does not consent to, or is unable to give informed consent to, or he or she is not developmentally prepared for and cannot give consent to. How big is this problem? Well, many children wait to report or never report such abuse. Therefore, the numbers are likely an underestimate of the true impact of the problem. But these numbers are unbelievable. About 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys in the United States experience child sexual abuse. 1 in 4 girls. So that means if you go to a playground and you see 4 girls, one of them is being sexually abused. 25% of our girls. 1 in 13 boys. Someone known and trusted by this child or this child's family member perpetuates 91% of this abuse. So how big is the problem? Oh, it's significant. It's disgusting. What are the consequences? Well, this abuse can affect how a person thinks, acts, or feels over a lifetime. It can result in a short and long-term physical, mental, and behavioral health consequence. Examples of this consequence include sexually transmitted infections, physical injuries, chronic conditions later in life, mental health issues such as depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, can lead to substance misuse, including opioids, risky sexual behaviors later in life, increased risk of perpetuation of sexual violence, increased risk for suicide or even suicide attempts. Experiencing this abuse can also increase a person's risk for future victimization. Recent studies have found that females exposed to child sexual abuse are at 2 to 13 times increased risk of sexual violence, victimization in adulthood. 13 times. People experience child sexual abuse or pedophilia are at twice the risk for non-sexual intimate partner violence. The effects of pedophilia extend beyond the immediate victims. Families may experience emotional distress, a shattered trust, and the challenge of navigating legal and therapeutic processes. Communities face the erosion of trust and the collective responsibility to safeguard vulnerable members. Addressing pedophilia involves a multifaceted approach, which includes prevention, mental health support for the victims, rehabilitation for offenders when possible, and legal measures to ensure accountability and protect society from further harm. It remains a complex and challenging issue that requires continuous efforts from individuals, communities, and institutions. The societal impact of pedophilia includes the stigma associated with the disorder. This stigma can lead to isolation for those seeking help, hindering prevention and treatment efforts. It's essential to distinguish between the disorder itself and criminal actions, encouraging early intervention and mental health support for individuals struggling with pedophilic tendencies before any harm occurs. Balancing the need for public safety with a compassionate approach to mental health is a delicate challenge that requires ongoing dialogue and education. Preventative measures are essential in mitigating the effects of pedophilia. This includes robust educational programs that empower individuals, families, and communities to recognize and respond to signs of abuse. Creating safe spaces for victims to disclose their experiences without fear of judgment is paramount. Additionally, enhancing mental health resources, particularly for potential offenders, promotes early intervention and rehabilitation, addressing the root causes of the disorder and reducing the risk of harm to children. Yes, a society that prioritizes prevention and support can contribute significantly to breaking the cycle of abuse associated with it. Institutional responses are crucial as well. Legal systems must ensure accountability for those who commit offenses while also offering avenues for rehabilitation when appropriate. Ongoing research into the causes and treatment of pedophilia is necessary for developing effective interventions. Collaborative efforts between mental health professionals, law enforcement, and policymakers can lead to comprehensive strategies that prioritize prevention, protection, and rehabilitation. By addressing the multifaceted aspects of this complex issue, society can work towards minimizing the harmful effects of pedophilia on individuals and its community. We also need technological advancements. Yes, technological advancements in order to ward off, stop pedophiliacs at the root by having online pictures and child pornography. In conclusion, addressing the effects of pedophilia necessitates a collaborative approach at various levels. There needs to be individuals, communities, institutions, combining preventative education, mental health support, legal measures, and technological advancements creates a comprehensive strategy for safeguarding our children and supporting the victims. The ongoing commitment to research, advocacy, and global collaboration is imperative to develop nuanced solutions, break down societal taboos, and create environments where the well being of children is a shared priority. Yes, it is through a united effort that we can strive towards a world that actively protects its most vulnerable members from the devastating effects of pedophilia. Now, with these numbers, 1 in 4 girls, 1 in 13 boys will be sexually abused. The question remains, how did we get here? Antiquing, the pursuit of collecting and appreciating antiques, offers a rich and rewarding hobby. It involves exploring historical artifacts, unraveling stories of the past, and often finding unique treasures. Whether you're drawn to furniture, art, or vintage items, antiquing provides a tangible connection to history and a sense of discovery. Engaging in antiquing can be a form of time travel, allowing enthusiasts to appreciate craftsmanship and design from bygone eras. The thrill of the hunt, visiting antique shops, flea markets, or auctions, adds an element of excitement and serendipity to the hobby. Antiquing is not just about acquiring objects, it's a journey of exploration and learning, providing insights into different cultures, styles, and the evolution of craftsmanship over the years. Further, it fosters a sense of nostalgia and preservation of cultural heritage. Collecting and caring for antiques involves maintaining the integrity of the items that have stood the test of time. It also encourages a sustainable approach to consumption, as antiques are often repurposed and appreciated for their enduring quality, rather than being discarded like more contemporary items. This connection with the past and the sustainable aspect of antiquing can bring a unique and meaningful dimension to the hobby. Antiquing often becomes a social activity, fostering connections with fellow enthusiasts and dealers. Whether attending antique fairs, joining collector groups, or sharing discoveries online, the hobby provides a platform for building a community of like minded individuals. Exchanging stories, insights, and knowledge about the different pieces creates a shared passion that transcends generational gaps, forging connections between people who appreciate the artistry and history embedded in antiques. Moreover, the diversity within antiquing allows individuals to specialize in specific eras, styles, or types of items. Whether someone is interested in Victorian furniture or vintage jewelry, or maybe even mid century modern design, the hobby accommodates various preferences. This specialization not only deepens one's knowledge in a particular area, but also adds a personal touch to the collection, reflecting the unique tastes and interests of the individual collector. The versatility of antiquing enables enthusiasts to tailor the hobby to their own evolving preferences and curatorial vision. In conclusion, antiquing transcends beyond a mere hobby. It's a journey that's encompassing history, culture, community, and craftsmanship. The thrill of discovery, the preservation of heritage, and the connections forged within the unique antique community makes it an enriching pursuit. Whether you're drawn to the aesthetic beauty of a particular era or captivated by the stories embedded in each piece, antiquing offers a tangible and immersive way to connect with the past while contributing to a sustainable and meaningful present. This sunflower message that we have today was given to us as an uplifting message from my father. Hey, Dad, we appreciate you. You've been on the show now twice, and we also appreciate all of your contributions, including our sunflower message today. This gentleman saw a man on the corner talking about the Bible every day. Day after day, this man was there. So the gentleman asked him, why was he there every day? What was he seeking to accomplish from this? The man replied to his question by saying, I am a nobody telling everybody about somebody who will save anybody. The gentleman replied to him with a smile. We too can be a nobody telling everybody about somebody who will save anybody. Or, in addition to that, we could live our lives in a way that is a ministry within itself. On Cash App, $ Live Laugh Talk, on Twitter at Live Laugh Talker, and on your podcast platform, you can donate to support our podcast. All donations are used for the purpose of the podcast and furthering it so that we can get more listeners. Also, remember to rate us the highest on your podcast platform and tell your friends about us, your family about us, your workmates about us. Go to Etsy, search for How Did We Get Here or Live Laugh Talk, or you can search for my name, James Graham, and there you will find merchandise that is absolutely beautiful. Andrew and Sparkle have created cups, tumblers, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, ties, socks, dog clothing items like a dog hoodie, all types of beautiful Live, Laugh, Talk merch. We ask that you participate in that so that when you're wearing the Live, Laugh, Talk, somebody's going to walk up to you and say, hey, what is that? Who is that? And that gives you an opportunity to talk about the podcast. It was just yesterday. I was walking through one of the local stores and I had on my Live, Laugh, Talk merch. Gentleman walked up to me and he says, what's that? And I had an opportunity to gain a new listener. Picked up his phone. He had an Apple phone. We went on to Apple Podcast. We searched Live, Laugh, Talk. There it is. Boom. Now he's a listener. Actually texted me before this podcast. I said, hey, I am so appreciative of meeting you today. And I'm so appreciative of meeting you too, sir. And hopefully you're listening to this because you know who I'm talking about. This is James and Georgia's baby boy signing up. And as you know, I can't wait to talk with you again soon.